Welcome to the City of Angels, Los Angeles, California. Here for a early evening battle here in LA. Eastern time kicking off around 9:30, but 6:30 over here on the West Coast. 54 degrees as the Los Angeles Lycans will play host to the Jacksonville Kings here in Week 6 of the Simulation Football League. Alongside Brett Solberg, Tyler Falk, and Zach Holdorf in the Stats Truck, my name is Eric Vincent. Thank you for tuning in to this presentation from Full Moon Coliseum. And Brett, we were talking about it off air. LA's, they got to poo or get off the pot.
Yeah, at this point, they're 1-3, and they look completely off the entire game on their Week 4 matchup against Atlanta, only getting the touchdown like late in the game during garbage time, and pretty much it felt like a wasted effort. But they're coming off their bye week now, so maybe the little bit of R&R is going to help them. But you're looking at a different trajectory team in Jacksonville who came back and won in overtime last week, 37-34 in dramatic fashion. So they're in high spirits as well. So this is going to be one intriguing matchup.
Certainly will be, as Jacksonville coming into town sporting the white jerseys, purple pants. And LA coming out with their all-black uniforms here at home this evening. So Jacksonville will get the football to start things off here on the West Coast. LA coming in at 1-3, Jacksonville coming in at 3-1. Rob Ems will do the honors for us. And we are underway here from LA. Fielded from about his own goal line. That's going to be Zachary Patton with the return, and he'll bring it out to the 25-yard line. Marcus Dunhill, his second stint in the league and his second season here in Jacksonville, and he's put up some impressive numbers as he typically does.
Yeah, and it was a pretty much almost flawless effort last week for him. 37-45 for 388 and 3 touchdowns. No interceptions with that as well to help carry them to that third win of the season.
He's going to start off from the gun and quickly fires it over the middle of the field. Caught, and that's Grayson Willis for first down yardage and more. Out near midfield, mark him down at the 48.
Yeah, we're talking about starting things off with a bang here. Dunhill going straight away with what was cooking for him last game, going with a nice hit down the sidelines there, getting on a post route for a very nice catch, and they're already at midfield.
23-yard pitch and catch right out the gate for the Kings. Dunhill from the gun again. Finds another open receiver, this time towards the top of the formation. That's Shea Carroll, as he gets a good chunk of 7 yards out to the LA 45. We'll get a look at the stars for this Jacksonville offense. Marcus Dunhill at quarterback. Jared Willis, the running back. Zachary Patton, Grayson Willis, Kingston Ellington, and Shea Carroll, the receivers. Jack Wall, Talon Steele, the tight ends. Olivia Bleeker, Alden Bleeker, and Brian French are along the offensive line. 2nd and 3, we'll see the first carry for Jared Willis as he gets close to the line to gain, and he gets tackled at the 44 for a gain of 1.
Yeah, it looked like Tony Swoll, the right tackle there, had a little bit of an issue between him and Willis. Willis couldn't get past him a little bit there. If he had a little bit of space, I think he would have gotten the first down, but kind of got stopped a little bit by his own lineman.
Sets up 3rd and short. LA stacking the box. Dunhill under center. Takes the snap. Short drop. Finds an open man over the middle of the field. Caught for first down yardage. That's Grayson Willis once again. And he'll move out to the 33-yard line.
Yeah, and if you're going to rely on your wide receivers early, you might as well go with that 8-season veteran in Grayson Willis. Another nice slant route down the middle of the field to just get open a little bit. He's got that nice ability to cut inside and get a nice space for catches.
All 8 seasons with this Kings franchise, as Willis gets a carry, and Jared will make it out to the 31-yard line for a short gain of 2. Get a look at the Lycans on defense. Brogan Spiraw, Ace Blackwell, Gary Marks, all on the front 3. Tazzy Blackwell, Danny Stinson, Kevin Brackett, and Buddy Blaze are the linebackers. Ryan Proster, Mike Scott, Jack Hacksaw the corners, and Rochelle Colston and Ryan Yosef round out the defensive backfield for LA. Dunhill from the gun on this 2nd and 8. Pump fakes over the middle into coverage and incomplete. Looked like he might have had a man in Zachary Patton or Kingston Ellington, but it falls to the turf, brings up 3rd down.
And all 4 receivers went on an in-slant there, as you saw. All 4 receivers kind of cut into the middle of the field, which kind of left all the safeties and corners kind of bunching in together, which resulted in Dunhill maybe making a little bit of a tougher throw, which led to that incompletion.
4 wide for Dunhill on this 3rd and 8. Takes the high snap. Finds his man down the near sideline, and that's close to 1st down yardage. They're going to mark him just shy, though, as Grayson Willis had 3 catches for 41 yards on the drive. But it's going to be just a little bit short. 4th and inches coming up here, Brett.
And just after the catch, it seemed like Willis kind of stepped a little bit in past the boundary, but stepped in outside once he had a little bit of collection. So that's what resulted in that 4th and inches. But now we're going to see Jordan Bradshaw, who was the hero last week for Jacksonville, get his first field goal attempt. Actually, offense still on the field.
Not so fast, my friend. Not so fast, my friend. I am not at all surprised to see the offense still out on the field, given the defensive performance that the Lycans had last week, but they hold strong as Jacksonville is forced to burn their first timeout. They'll have 2 remaining with 7:54 to go here in the first.
It's not too bad of an idea considering how hot this offense has started off, especially in the passing game. Dunhill's cooking already just with his first couple of pass attempts. And like you said, Los Angeles' defense over the last couple of weeks have been very suspect at best. So not a bad decision made by Jacksonville here just to use that first timeout. Nonetheless, now we get to see Jordan Bradshaw out in the field.
This attempt going to be from about 40 yards. Bradshaw booted through the game-winning field goal and the overtime-forcing field goal a week ago against Carolina, and he boots it through from 40 yards. That makes it a 3-0 ball game in favor of the Kings on their opening possession.
And he just continues to cook here as early on in this game he gets his attempt through from 40, and it was a very, very nicely placed kick for Bradshaw. Just easy pickings from him for 40. So now Jacksonville on the board. Let's see how their defense responds in kind.
8 plays, 51 yards, capped off with that 40-yard field goal by Jordan Bradshaw. The Lycans will get the return inside their own 5-yard line. Good special teams coverage, though. Marks him down at the 20-yard line. And they'll actually mark him down at the 21, it looks like. Elsie Pryor with the return, and Sully Richardson, number 6, is going to come out to command the offense for LA.
Yeah, and the one thing that we've started to realize throughout this SFL season is you can't be too one-dimensional, and that's resulting in Sully Richardson maybe throwing some errant passes, 4 interceptions last week. Let's see if he turns things around.
That he's going to hand it off to Robert Johnson, and he gets a good burst of speed for 7 yards out to the 28-yard line before he's tackled on the play. Looked like it was Greg Gaines that came up and hit him pretty hard there.
Yeah, and if there's been one reliable part of the offense for Los Angeles this season, it has been Robert Johnson. He's been getting a decent amount of carries here throughout the season, 86 yards last week, and he just needs to continue cooking for this Lycans offense.
278 yards on the ground so far this season for Johnson. He's going to add to that total as he bounces it off far sideline. He's got some speed, and he'll make it out past midfield to the 44-yard line of Jacksonville. Great start for the LA offense.
Yeah, and it all started by basically that opening on that left side, which I will give credit to Vladimir Dunham on that left side. As you can see, also 66 as well coming in to kind of help out on that. That's Alden Bleeker, or not Alden Bleeker, my mistake. I got the wrong team here. 66, which is
Bob Dunham.
Bob Dunham. That left side doing a great job just making enough space for Johnson just to use his speed and get down the field.
Hand off to the fullback, Tommy Rahman, and he'll get a good, hard-fought 3 yards on that play. We'll get a look at the Lycans on offense quickly. Sully Richardson, a quarterback. Robert Johnson, the running back. Tommy Rahman, you just saw there. Terrence Weary, Davius Reed, Elsie Pryor, and Chris Lee, the wide receivers. Jack Flash at tight end, and Vladimir and Bob Dunham are at left tackle and left guard, respectively. High formation for the Lycans as Johnson gets another carry and again slips through the line of scrimmage and past the line to gain, as Gaines is the one who brings him down, possibly saving a touchdown.
And again, it's Bob Dunham once again, as well as the center, J.O. Felonius, just getting enough space down the field, as well as Tommy Rahman getting a big first step to get that linebacker stopped in its tracks, to give Johnson that space that he needs to get down the field. This run game so far for Los Angeles has been really working for them.
Single back formation this time. Richardson under center. He's going to throw and finds his man down the near sideline. That's Davius Reed for a good gain of 5 yards. We're going to look at the Jacksonville defense. Mike All, Taekwon Hale, Buster Johnson, and Forrest Dalton all on the front four. John Martin, J.R. Lawless, and Garrett Hudson are your linebackers. Connor Darien, Terrence Pearson, Bernard Good in the corners, and Greg Gaines and Stuart Zomilia are the safeties to round out the secondary. Bunch receivers towards the bottom of the formation for L.A. on 2nd and 5. Richardson to throw again. He wants it all. End zone. Touchdown, L.A. They strike first as far as hitting pay dirt, and this time it was a huge catch by LZ Pryor.
And LZ Pryor has been dubiously fast throughout this entire season, and we saw it right away as that play started to happen. The first person on that wide receiver trio that was breezing by was LZ Pryor. And I was thinking if someone was going to get that touchdown early on, it was going to be Pryor on that LA side. And lo and behold, that's a quick 6 for Los Angeles.
They had 4 runs to start the drive off and then all passing to wrap it up. 6 plays, 79 yards, 23-yard passing touchdown from Richardson to LZ Pryor, and that makes it a 7-0 ball game, courtesy of Rob Ems, the kicker. And LA has a lead to start things off here with 5:30 to go here in the first. I think we were thinking that Jacksonville was probably going to take over a little bit more here to start.
Yeah, and I think that bye week for Los Angeles has really helped them, rest and recuperate and maybe watch a little bit extra game film against these guys. And yeah, first drive, quick touchdown.
Certainly helps being at home here at Full Moon Coliseum as well. Patton with the return. He's got some blockers in front, and he's going to make it out to the 29-yard line. Decent return for the Kings as Jacksonville will take over for their next possession.
Yeah, and they have to think here now that Los Angeles has scored very quickly. You got to think, especially in the mind of Marcus Dunhill, he's going to be wanting to get a quick 6 himself out of this and respond in kind. But right now, we might see a Grayson Willis run here.
Single back. Willis does get the carry, and Jared will get it out to the 29-yard line for a short gain of 1. If you're new to the SFL, the Simulation Football League combines traditional sports, esports, and a role-playing game into one. Team strategies are being executed in real time by our simulations as real-life players compete on the virtual gridiron. For more information about the SFL, visit our website at simulationfl.net. The SFL, we put the fan and fantasy. 2nd and 9, Dunhill under center. He will throw off a 5-step drop, finds a man far sideline, close to first down yardage, and that's going to be out to the 39-yard line. Jack Wall with the catch.
Yeah, nice little out route for the tight end here, Jack Wall, separating himself from the line and just getting a little burst of speed against his linebacker counterpart and just get enough space to grab that catch in a nice 9-yard gain.
Single back, Jared Willis with the carry, first down yardage and more as he creeps across the 40-yard line to the 42.
Yeah, and this might be a good mix of run and pass that we'll see from Jacksonville on this drive here. Again, the big key in getting these short second down situations and turn them into first down is to get proper spacing from your linebacking core. And right now, the offensive lines for both teams have done pretty well.
Lycans anticipating a run here on this first down. They'll get it as Jared Willis is going to get a good chunk of 6 yards as he went right up the middle, but he paid for it in a big way as Rochelle Colston came up and laid the lumber on him.
Yeah, and Colston was maybe that little bit of separation between not Grayson, Jared Willis. I'm getting these names mixed up already here. But Willis had plenty of space in front of him, and if Colston didn't get to him, that could have been 15, 20 yards.
Dunhill to throw again, over the middle and incomplete. Looked like there was a post route trying to be run by Shea Carroll, but it was good defense by Hacksaw, forces the incompletion.
Yeah, and with the corners going tight against a lot of these receivers here, that left the safeties to worry about those deep throws, and Jack Hacksaw, right place, right time, gets his hands on the football and forces a third down for Jacksonville.
This LA defense playing worlds better than what we have seen in the past couple of games, forcing a 3rd and 4 here for this Jacksonville offense.
Playing tight here.
Dunhill to throw. Over the middle, and that's caught. A clutch catch by Grayson Willis, number 11, over the middle. He has been a very popular target for Dunhill to start things off.
Yeah, and I said the corners were playing tight again, which you can't have it happen too often here, because with the speed of these Jacksonville receivers, they're going to beat those corners every once in a while. And again, another good catch from Grayson Willis, and he's been very involved in this first quarter. And I wouldn't be surprised if they go his way once again here with these corners getting close by.
4 catches, 57 yards for Willis to start things off. Jared Willis with the carry, and he had a ton of room to start things off. Hit the second level finally, and finally was brought down by Ryan Yosef.
Yeah, that was just a punch up the middle there. So it was all involved on which side of the offensive line he was going to choose from, and with the 2 bleakers there on the left side, I think it's easy for Willis to choose on that left side and get a nice 6 yards out of it.
Dunhill takes the short snap. Jared Willis throws the spin move down, but a good open field tackle made by Kevin Brackett forces a 3rd and short.
Yeah, the issue with that swing pass there is that your linemen weren't ready to block with Jared Willis there, and it was just easy pickings for the linebacking core for Los Angeles and get him before he hits the first down marker.
Jared Willis with another carry, and he gets just enough, maybe a little bit more, to get the first down.
And he had to drag himself to get that first down as well, as he got tackled basically right at the line, and he just wanted to get some insurance on that. So he pushed his way to that first down, giving Jacksonville new life with this new set of downs.
Danny Stinson with the stop, but not before Willis gets first down yardage, but he's going nowhere this time around. The LA defense was ready for it in a hurry as Gary Marks and company gets in for the stop.
You know, and LA has predicted run on first down a couple times correctly here, but this is the first time in this first quarter that they predicted which side of the field that Willis was going to run on, and it was right away Gary Marks.
Jared with another swing pass, and again, not much blocking out there for Willis to really work with, as you touched on earlier, Brett, and it ends up being, maybe a gain of a couple.
Yeah, it's only a couple yards on that one, and again, if you're going to go with that swing pass, you have to have those speedy, agile linemen ready to go, and if those linemen aren't there, then the linebacking core of that defense are going to get to your running back right away.
Forces another 3rd down here for Jacksonville. Dunhill with patience in the pocket, forced to check it down pretty quick. And Jared Willis is nowhere near the line to gain, so LA going to force another field goal attempt by Bradshaw, and this is definitely a victory for this LA defense.
Absolutely, and this Los Angeles corner secondary unit has done really well, especially on their own end of the field, to kind of stay with their wide receivers. And this time it forced Dunhill to go with his check down option and only get a couple yards out of it. It's another 40-yard attempt for Jordan Bradshaw.
Low snap this time. Opportunity to get it blocked, but it goes up and through from 39 officially this time. And that will end the first quarter of play as LA has taken a 7-6 lead here at home, Brett.
Yeah, and again, we're going back to Jordan Bradshaw and getting a healthy dose. He's 5 of 5 already in the last 2 weeks.
First quarter in the books. LA on top by 1. You're watching the Simulation Football League presented by APM Music. Live on YouTube. Stay with us. Two possessions for Jacksonville, 2 field goals. LA with the only touchdown on the board and only 1 possession to their credit to start things off here at home for them. Fielded from about the 5-yard line and brought up to about the 24 is where LA will start things off. Pryor with the return. The only touchdown catch on the board here this evening, courtesy of LZ Pryor.
Yeah, and the only drive from LA resulting in a touchdown in the first quarter as well. So, so far, 1 of 1 successfully from this Lycans offensive unit in getting points.
Offset I formation for Richardson and company. Jacksonville anticipating a run, stacking the box. Richardson instead is going to throw. He'll throw quickly. Finds his man for first down.
Wow.
And what a catch by Jack Flash as he was able to find a hole in the defense and shoot forward into Jacksonville territory just like that.
Not only a great catch from Jack Flash, but a great job by separating himself on that first tackle attempt to get even more yardage. And it's deja vu here in LA as the first play once again on LA's drive results in a big pass that gets them into midfield.
28 yards quickly right out the gate for the Lycans on offense. Richardson from the gun. Johnson sidecar left. Richardson, another catch, complete out across the 20 to the, out across the 35 to the 32-yard line, as that was Davius Reed with his first catch.
Yeah, and once you get those deep connections starting off early, it results in your corners kind of sagging back a little bit. And in this case, the Jacksonville secondary sagged off a little bit too much, which gave an easy catch from it. Now they're playing up close.
Richardson, pressure all in his face, able to check it down out to Johnson, who gets out of the backfield in a hurry and then pays for it. Courtesy of number 21, Connor Darien, making the hit along the near sideline.
And again, they go with that the all slants on the inside, which is bunching up those secondary units together. And this time they go with the swing option to Robert Johnson, and he gets a couple yards out of it and sets up a nice second and short here for them.
Offset I, Jacksonville really stacking the box here. Ready for Johnson there, and he gets buried in the backfield. You saw that coming the whole way as Forrest Dalton was the one who got in there to make the stop.
Yeah, just a little bit of a breakdown on that interior offensive line that resulted in Dalton getting to Robert Johnson as quickly as he did, because we saw the proper blocking on that left side, which he wanted to go, especially from Tommy Rahman, gave a huge block on that.
Richardson, short drop, throws a bit of a duck, but completes it. And Chris Lee has the grab for first down yardage as they move inside the SFL red zone.
Yeah, and the LA wide receiving core is figuring out which places Jacksonville's secondary are kind of trying to stop Sully Richardson. So they're going a little bit shorter as they sag off a little bit more, and it's resulting in these nice little catches, especially in these short down situations, getting these nice and easy first downs as they get inside the red zone now.
LA looking to go 2 for 2 on touchdowns for their possessions. Richardson, 5-step drop, throws it on the run, checks it down to Johnson, who turns on the afterburners and is able to make something out of nothing there. And he was dead to rights in the backfield, but is able to get 4.
Yeah, and Robert Johnson has been getting rocked by these cornerbacks here from Jacksonville. We saw him get hit against Connor Darien earlier, this time against Bernard Gooden, and it's both been earth-shattering hits from these corners here, so just some unsuspecting strength from them.
3 wide, handoff to Johnson. Johnson still on his feet, and he gets close to the line to gain. They'll mark him just shy at the 6-yard line.
And just after he got hit there, he gives a little bit of a how do you do to John Martin as he bowls him over to get forward a little bit there, and now sets up a third and very short situation as Jacksonville inches closer, or not Jacksonville, Los Angeles inches closer and closer to the end zone.
Interesting formation on 3rd and short as Richardson comes out in the empty, 5 wide. Sully over the middle, touchdown, LA.
That's an easy empty shotgun slants route for LZ Pryor once again getting involved in the touchdown department. That's already number 2 in this first half, and this one was just easy. The corners were sagging off a little bit, which Jacksonville has done, especially in the second quarter, and just that change of pace, that change of direction can be all the difference between getting covered or getting open. And Pryor has done a great job just getting open on both of her receptions for touchdowns here, and 2 for 2 on the touchdown department area for LA.
2 catches, 2 touchdowns for LZ Pryor. Ems will add the extra point, and that'll make it a 14-6 advantage. Still a 1-possession ball game, but the LA defense has held Jacksonville out of the end zone so far and have scored on both of their possessions. This time, this drive ended up being an 8-play, 76-yard drive, 6-yard passing touchdown from Richardson to Pryor once again. $7:18 to go here in the first half of play as Ems boots the ball down the field. Patton will get another crack at the return. And he gets buried just past the 20-yard line, mark him down at the 23. Have you checked out video content produced by our community lately? Catch the Sim Pod every week, SFL Crunch Time, and Road to Glory every Wednesday night. SFL Nights with AJ Stryker premieres Thursday nights. Day with Your Chest airs Fridays, and Netma can be seen all week long at 6 p.m. Eastern Time. Every week, the live show schedule can be accessed through our Discord server at the top of the channel listing. Just look for the events tab. Dunhill will hand it off to Jared Willis to start things off on this drive, and he'll scoot forward for maybe a yard, as that was Tazzy Blackwell, the inside linebacker, the rookie second-round pick, with the tackle.
Yeah, and it looked like Los Angeles brought everyone to the line there, as it just was an absolute swarm of black down in the trenches, and yeah, Willis had nowhere to go on that.
3 wide for Dunhill this time. He's under center. Short drop. Going to air it out. One-on-one coverage and incomplete. That was a dangerous pass there. Just a little bit too much air on the football, and Mike Scott almost came away with the pick.
Yeah, and Mike Scott has been known to get those blink and you miss it interceptions and those swataways too, as he can kind of just creep up from behind the receivers to swat those passes away. So that's a traditional Mike Scott play there.
4 wide for the Kings. Dunhill with time. Gonna throw it far sideline and incomplete. Looked like it got past the defense. I think the receiver was just surprised that it ended up hitting him in the hands and it falls incomplete.
Yeah, and it was going towards Mike Scott's direction again, and it just seemed like it could have been a slight tip on that pass as well. It's tough to see from the opposite end of the field from our booth here, but yeah, one of the rare mishaps from Grayson Willis there.
So Howard McCoy will punt. First punt of the evening for either team. Fair catch is going to be called for and made just in front of the 40-yard line at the 42. Eric Vincent alongside Brett Solberg, Tyler Falk, and Zach Holdorf are in the stat truck for us this evening as we have Sunday Night Football here on the West Coast. LA with a 14-6 advantage. They've scored on both of their possessions so far, hit pay dirt, and they've prevented Jacksonville from hitting the end zone so far. Richardson, a little bit of trickeration there, able to get it off to Johnson, who gets 5 on the play. And it looks like Stuart Zamelia had some cramps earlier in the ball game. He may return a little bit later on, the first-round pick for the Kings on defense.
Yeah, you can't eat dinner so soon before a game. I can test that firsthand. Especially, you can get the cramps after that. But might not have been the case, but that's my suspicion at least.
Who knows? Plenty of good food out here in LA as well.
Well, very true.
Johnson with the carry, and he gets bottled up right near midfield. Great gang tackle there by several Kings defenders, and that's going to bring up a 3rd and short for the LA offense.
Yeah, it looked to be quite a few kind of in the area of Scott Johnson there. But Johnson's been cooking so far as he's been getting just over 8 yards a carry so far in this game, and he's been pretty much a threat in this offense so far.
7 carries, 59 yards. Richardson instead is going to throw into coverage and incomplete. He was trying to thread the needle. I think he saw Reed out there, but couldn't quite get it past the defenders, and that falls incomplete.
And John Martin getting involved in a second straight play there, involved in the tackle that brought down Scott Johnson earlier, and this time swatting the ball away from, I believe it was Davius Reed, and now forcing, for the first time in this game, a Los Angeles punt.
And LA star punter Sid O'Lindy, undrafted rookie this past season, trying to pin the Kings back deep. And it's a good punt that's going to bounce right around the 10-yard line. And, man, it's going to stop just before the goal line. They'll mark him down at the 3. What a punt there by Sid O'Lindy.
And you know what they say, if Sid O'Lindy punts you deep, then you're just SOL. Did an absolutely amazing work of just pinning the ball deep enough and getting the placement of that football to go down just enough to kind of stop instead of continue going. You know how the physics of the football is erratic at times, so an amazing job.
Master of the puns you are, as Jared Willis gets a carry to give his offense a little bit more breathing room out to the 11-yard line, gain of 8.
Yeah, and when you're deep in your territory, the most conservative way of going with things is going with a run. And with a guy like Jared Willis in that backfield, you're going to get a couple yards out of it. And now they have a little bit of breathing room. That playbook has opened up a little bit more. And now they can kind of breathe a little bit easier now.
This LA defense has clamped Willis shut to an extent. Only 3.3 yards average per carry here tonight. Dunhill going to sling it out to Willis coming out of the backfield. Had a blocker and still gets tackled near sideline. Not before he gets first down yardage to the 22.
Yeah, a nice little swing pass to Jared Willis this time, and had Jack Wall on the block with him. Wall didn't get quite the block that he wanted to, but nonetheless, Willis gets a couple extra yards just from that extra offensive player being alongside him, and that's essentially the difference between a good swing pass and a bad swing pass.
Joseph was the one that knocked him out of bounds. Same basic play here, and this time a much better result for the LA defense, as that was big number 58, Buddy Blaze, an all-star in season 16, 5th season here with the LA Lycans.
Yeah, and they went right side again, and this time that blocker that was supposed to be with him is Tony Swoll, but he's a couple steps behind, and it results in a bunch of linebackers getting ready for Jared Willis right after the pass.
Dunhill in trouble, going to dish it out to Jared Willis. Slips the defender there and is able to get close to first down yardage. They'll mark him just shy at the 32-yard line, third and very, very short. Yeah,
and when you have a guy like Gary Marks breathing down your neck, getting ready to absolutely demolish you and flatten you to the ground, you have to kind of throw it out right away and kind of go with that safety option, Willis, and he gets you a fair chunk of yards there.
Under 4 to go here in the first half of play. Jared Willis with the carry, and I think he got just enough there to get the first down, and he did.
Yeah, with that first down line being so close to the line of scrimmage, all you needed was kind of just like a soft breeze of air just to get ahead, and Willis got that tiny little breeze of air. Don't know where it came from, but yeah, he just got barely enough for that first down.
Jacksonville started off at the 3-yard line. Now out to their own 33. Sidearm toss by Dunhill. Finds his man, and that's close to first down yardage again. That was Jack Wall with the catch. It's going to bring up 2nd and 1.
Yeah, and you kind of see the cross slants action going on between Jack Wall, and it looked to be Shea Carroll on there as well, kind of crossing paths. And this time Dunhill goes with the tight end and gets a nice catch for 9 yards out of it.
Dunhill 13 of 17 for over 100 yards so far. Hand off to Jared Willis, gets first down yardage again. This time out to the Jacksonville 45-yard line. His average is definitely creeping downward. It's on the downward trend. But this is a recipe for success overall for the Kings if they're able to get 7, 8, 9 yards on first down and then just wrap it up with Jared Willis the rest of the way.
Yeah, if Jacksonville can get those big plays on first down and they can just trust on the yards per carry from Jared Willis to get that first down.
Single back formation, Dunhill again, sidearms it into traffic. Ball is still up in the air and incomplete.
Oh, is that?
Just about anybody had an opportunity at the catch, but I think it finally hit the turf.
I think that play was still live a little bit there because that ball was kind of bumbling around a couple inches off the air. That could have been possibly an interception. I'm not sure from our vantage point that the ball was effectively on the ground, but nonetheless, still leads to an incomplete pass here. Second down.
And a free play off the jump.
Oh.
And a big hit there as Jared Willis is buried right around the 50-yard line. But it's a free play nonetheless as LA had jumped off sides.
Neutral zone infraction, number 96, defense, 5-yard penalty, repeat, second down.
So the Kings will accept the penalty, take the free 5 yards, and that'll scoot them closer to LA territory.
Yeah, the end on the other side, Haas Buffins, one of the best names in football, gets the infraction there.
2 minutes to go here in the first half. LA with a one-possession lead over the visiting Kings. This is the Simulation Football League, presented by the APM Music. We're live on YouTube. So we get a look at Grayson Willis. Very popular this first half. 4 catches, 57 yards. Dunhill changing things up at the line. Doesn't like what he sees. LA has 7 in the box. Dunhill, good pocket around him, going to sling it out to Jared Willis, and he goes nowhere. Good open field tackle made by Buddy Blaze. Stops him right at the line, brings up 35.
Yeah, and this LA secondary has been very effective in just staying with the Jacksonville receivers, who can be deadly all on their own if they're given just a little bit of separation. So they're staying intact with him. Dunhill being forced to go through all his progressions and finally going to his check down route to Willis for minimal gain.
3rd and 6. Dunhill over the middle into traffic and picked off finally. LA comes up with the clutch interception off the tip drill as Ryan Yosef finally collects it as it was tipped around about 5 different times.
And that all started with the safeties getting close by together, starting off with a Rochelle Colston tip that tossed it in the air a little bit longer, and it gave the other safety, Ryan Yosef, enough time to gather the football under his hands and just get enough of it to grab the interception. And now Los Angeles definitely cooking here, gets back the possession, and this could mean possible doom for Jacksonville if they can capitalize here.
Decent starting field position from their own 39. Johnson with the carry. Avoids the diving defender. Buries another in the dirt. And he's still on his feet. You gotta be kidding me, Robert Johnson. No one's gonna catch him. 5. Touchdown. That's gonna be the SFL top 10.
So we thought the first time he was going to get stopped at the line of scrimmage between that first defender, but he kind of just shrugs it off. The second time, goes a little bit of a stutter step. The defender's still with him, but he still shrugs him off. Look at that, off of John Martin, and keeps going. The second time, off of the safety, and just had a plenty of space on that left side. That is just a one-man wrecking crew and a one-man show in the bright lights of LA here as Robert Johnson gets to the end zone. LA cooking from all cylinders now.
The chat is absolutely going bonkers right now, trying to figure out exactly how he stayed on his feet for that 61-yard rumble into the end zone that is possibly going to put LA up 21-6.
And this was something we didn't expect through this game, especially with the trajectories between these two teams. So this has been a pleasant surprise.
Ems will add the extra point, so that will be a 21-6 advantage. You hit the nail on the head, Brett. I don't think... I wasn't sure how this game was going to go. Let's be honest. It's the SFL. We never know how it's going to go. But I don't think any of us here calling this game tonight thought that this was going to be the result with one half almost in the books.
Well, yeah, especially if you saw that LA's Week 4 game and that offense just wasn't there. You weren't expecting to score 21 in this first half alone.
Jacksonville looking to respond and finally get into the end zone as Patton will bring it out to the 24-yard line. 1:35, 2 timeouts for Jacksonville to work with. And a couple field goals in the first quarter of play, but otherwise it's been kind of stop and go a little bit for Jacksonville. This last possession did them no favors starting off at their own 3-yard line, but they got to get something going.
Yeah, I mean, it all starts and stops with Marcus Dunhill here, so he's going to have to make some key passes to end this half.
Dunhill will pass to start things off, and then looking for there. That's going to be a
unbelievable
pick 6 for LA. Touchdown, Lycans! Get out of here!
Yeah, and again, for the second straight defensive play, Rochelle Colston gets involved in the play itself. The last time, it was a tip that led to a Joseph interception. This time, Colston says, I want an INT of my own, but I want a little bit of pizzazz with that as well, and walk it all the way to the end zone, my friend. Los Angeles, unbelievable first half from them.
Rochelle Colston was eyeing that football like a hawk the entire time, just sitting, waiting, and then pounced on it. And it worked out great that Brackett was able to shove off the receiver over towards the far sideline. No one was going to touch Rochelle Colston getting in the end zone. Great play there by the Lycans on defense. And the hole just gets deeper and deeper for the Kings as Ems is able to nail the extra point and make it a 28-6 ball game after that pick 6.
And you know, that was directed towards Kingston Ellington. That was his first target of the game as well, and that was what a correct prediction from Rochelle Colston to stay along right by Ellington, get the interception, and waltz it to the end zone. Just unbelievable.
I want to know what was that pregame meal that LA had before tonight. I mean, good grief. Patton with another return here, trying to make some magic happen, and he'll get close to the 25, mark him down at the 24-yard line. So we'll try this again. 1:24, 2 timeouts for Jacksonville, and Dunhill has got to take care of the football here. I understand that you got to put the foot to the gas, but man, oh man, that pick 6 was not what the doctor ordered.
Yeah, the big key here is that Dunhill's got to read those safeties. Both Joseph and Colston have been just a thorn on his side so far in this first half, so he's got to read them both.
Dunhill, quick pass to Jared Willis coming out of the backfield. Great move by Jared Willis. Is able to get first down yardage out to the 35.
Gotta love spin moves, gotta love juke moves just to get that first down. Excellent work by Willis.
They'll go no huddle here. Dunhill changing things up at the line. Takes the snap, quick fires it over the middle, and another pick!
Again.
Rochelle Colston, her second pick in just a handful of plays as LA will take over on offense again. What is happening to Jacksonville?
It's simple there. It's the safeties reading Dunhill like a children's book right now. Rochelle Colston once again, this time covering Grayson Willis, decides to sag off a little bit, knowing that the slant route to the middle was going to happen, cuts in front, and once again grabs the interception all too easy. Los Angeles just 100% on fire right now.
Richardson will throw into coverage and incomplete. He was looking for, I think, Chris Lee on that play, but J.R. Lovelace stuck his big mid out there and knocked it to the turf.
Yeah, that was almost a diving swat there as first off looking to cover Jack Flash, noticing the ball going elsewhere to Chris Lee, and just getting his hands on the football to kind of try to stop the bleeding as much as he can here. But with 53 seconds left and already on the other side of the field, LA's got to love this situation right now.
Under a minute to go here in the first half. LA still with all 3 timeouts. Richardson from the gun. Pressure coming in his face. Going to fire a big one down the near sideline and incomplete. That was good coverage one-on-one by Connor Darien.
That was the first target for Terrence Weary as he goes corner down the sidelines there. perfectly covered by Connor Darien as well, staying in front of the football, just swatting the football away. And again, right now for Jacksonville, it's all about trying just to stop this Los Angeles offense from going here as they go empty set 5 wide.
5 wide, Jacksonville going cover 2. Richardson takes the high snap, going to fire it far sideline, and that is incomplete. It got tipped up in the air pretty high. It looked almost like a rainbow there, but falls to the turf eventually and forces a 4th down.
Yeah, and now Jacksonville can kind of sigh a little bit there as they get the stop after a 3rd interception from Marcus Dunhill. We don't say that all too often about the legendary Marcus Dunhill, if I can say that out of my mouth. I think he's one of the best quarterbacks the SFL has ever seen. But nonetheless, Los Angeles now forcing to punt.
Oh, Lindy had an impressive punt earlier to pin the Kings back deep. Patton with a good move, and he's going to make it out to the 16-yard line. A little better starting field position here for the Kings with 35 seconds to go here in the half.
But now they have to think it's been back-to-back-to-back interceptions from Marcus Dunhill. Do you think that they just run the ball and let the clock go so they can talk about it in the locker room? Or are they going to try to get something on the board so they have a little bit of running ground to come back?
Dunhill with the quick snap. Jared Willis all alone coming out of the backfield, but is closed on quickly by the LA defense, and he's tackled in bounds. Clock is going to run.
Yeah, and it looks like right now they're not all too eager to get to the huddle right now, so they might just be shedding down the clock here as we get to under 20 seconds to go. They might get one play off, but right now they just need to have a couple successful plays just to get to the locker room.
Yeah, they got to get to the locker room and lick their wounds, regroup, and come out a more revitalized team in the second half, because what we saw in the first half is not going to get it done, as LA has a commanding 28-6 lead over the Jacksonville Kings as we hit halftime here on the West Coast. And man, oh man, again, I want to know what was in the pregame meal for LA coming out here this evening, because they have come out firing on all cylinders.
And I don't even think it's just been the entire second half. I think it's just been the second quarter alone that has been Jacksonville's doom. So they just need to turn things around here, forget about what happened in that second quarter, and start to climb back on this 22-point deficit. It's possible. It's the SFL. Anything can happen. It's madness.
LA will get the football to start things off here in the second half. Pryor with the return, just past the 20-yard line out to the 22. Eric Vincent alongside Brett Solberg, Tyler Falk, and Zach Holdorf in the stat struck for us this evening as we get a look at those Aussie statistics. And LA has definitely dominated. They scored 14 points off of turnovers, though. So, if Jacksonville takes care of the football, this is a different ballgame.
Yeah, and you see the two differences there. The average yards per play, which is almost double of Jacksonville's, and the rushing yards, which has just been all dominant on one side.
Robert Johnson with the carry, and he'll make it out for a minimal gain out to the 23-yard line. And you're absolutely right. I have to side that with the turnovers that they've gotten, right? The amount of yardage that they've gotten, the disparity. Jeez, words are hard. Go ahead and take it over.
The one big thing, Sully Richardson hasn't done too much through the air. He's only got over 100 yards. That's it. Free play.
Free play there as Johnson gets the carry. He'll get close to the 5 yards that they're going to get off the penalty. But I think LA is just going to take the free 5 yards and replay the down.
Neutral zone infraction, number 94, defense.
We don't see that all too often from Forrest Dalton. He's usually a stone rock on that line. We don't see him jump all that often, but maybe it's just the eagerness to get Jacksonville's offense back on the field and get their points started a little bit more. But, nonetheless, free 5 yards, and it's a very favorable situation for Los Angeles here on second down.
Richardson hasn't had to throw the ball a ton. 8 completions for over 100 yards as Johnson is in major trouble in the backfield, and he finally gets tackled by John Martin as he avoided the first maybe 3 defenders, but man, it was only a matter of time before that Kings defense showed up and buried him.
Yeah, it looked like Forrest Dalton was the first guy to kind of break through that offensive line, which kind of caused Johnson to go a little bit backwards on that. And you saw John Martin in there as well, and then Taquan Hale on that other side, just kind of being a little bit threatening.
Big 3rd and 7 for Richardson as he checks it down short of the line to gain. And that's going to be definitely short of the first down as the Jacksonville secondary was able to wrap up Chris Lee on that catch. It's going to bring up 4th and short.
And it's a good start for Jacksonville here. They get the first stop on LA's first drive in this second half, and they might need a decent return here to kind of get things going. But Jacksonville, so far, so good.
Another punt from Sid O'Lindy, this time from his own end of the football field, and Patton will make it out maybe a couple yards out to the Jacksonville 36-yard line. Visit the SFL website at simulationfl.net for links to apparel from Sector 6 and SFL mini helmets from 97's Pros Promotions, plus articles from our content team, including Power Rankings, What We Learned, the Read Option, and Talent Factory's feature series. See all the league records, team stats, player leaderboards, the rankings of the next class of SFL talent, and so much more. Simulationfl.net, your home for everything SFL. From the 36, Dunhill is going to take his first crack at the football here in the second half, and we'll get it out to his tight end, Talon Steele, for a minimal gain.
And hashtag throw to the tight end early on in the second half for Jacksonville as they get a nice 6 yards out of it, and maybe just inching their way forward is the key to get them back in this game. But 22 points, it's a lot of ground to cover.
Plenty of football left to play as well as Jared Willis is surging ahead for first down yardage. I thought he was dead to rights right at the line of scrimmage, but kept the legs churning and got first down yardage.
Yeah, imagine having 2 giant interior linemen on your back. That would be difficult for just any normal human being, but I don't think Jared Willis is normal or a human being at all as he just drags himself forward to get that willing first down.
Dunhill to throw this time into coverage and incomplete. Looked like there was a linebacker out there on coverage. That was Danny Stinson, and almost had the completion out to Jack Wall, but it's incomplete.
I'm not sure that from our vantage point here, I think it hit Jack Wall's helmet there. I'm not too sure. But yeah, just a little bit of coverage from this Los Angeles secondary is possibly causing these Jacksonville receivers to kind of fumble the football a little bit. We've seen it once already with Grayson Willis in the first half.
Dunhill has plenty of time. Pocket collapsing around him. Getting aired out. Finds his man. This time he has Jack Wall out to the LA 22-yard line. Splash play for the Kings.
And you have to think that the difference between the 3 interceptions from Marcus Dunhill and this pass alone is that he just gave Jack Wall enough time to get a little bit of separation between him and those 2 dastardly safeties that have been a thorn on Dunhill's side as I spoke earlier about it, but just getting a little bit extra time to throw that football and connect to get that deep pass.
31-yard connection there from Dunhill to Wall. Sets up a fresh set of downs. Jared Willis, a couple of spin moves, a third spin move, and he makes it out to the LA 17-yard line. Into the SFL red zone we go.
And you think there's any running back in this league that's nicknamed themselves the human washing machine? Because that would be quite the nickname for Jared Willis after this game here. He's had a couple of nice spin moves, and this one was what do they call in speed skating? A triple axel, I think it is. Yeah, just spin cycle galore.
Hand off to Willis this time as he got a catch coming out of the backfield just to play before. Gets a few yards out to the 14-yard line. There's a reason I play linebacker because I get dizzy with all the spinning and turning and whatnot. So, yeah, just give me someone to hit.
Plus, I don't think you have the feet to kind of spin around either. I think
That's
you've
true.
got stone. I think you've got either lead feet or you've got like just stone feet in general. I'm not too sure what's going on with those little feet of yours.
Never been much of a dancer either, so that would make sense. Willis with the carry and gets buried in the backfield. LA stifling this Kings offense. Any chance that they get an opportunity to score, and Danny Stinson gets in there for the backfield, that's going to be another field goal attempt.
Yeah, and they brought 2 linebackers in this time, Kevin Brackett along with that as well. But Danny Stinson gets to Jared Willis to kind of stop that drive intact. And now Jordan Bradshaw has to kick his 3rd field goal of the game here.
This one going to be from about 32 yards, and it is true from 32. Makes it a 28-9 ball game here as Jacksonville still has not found the end zone deep into the 3rd quarter.
Yeah, and it seems like all the successful drives for Jacksonville has started very promising, and then once they get around that 30-yard line or so, the defense, especially the secondary unit for Los Angeles, steps up in a major way just to stifle them and stop them in their tracks and force Jordan Bradshaw out in the field for field goals.
8 plays, 49 yards, capped off with that field goal there as LA gets another crack at the football, up by 19 points. And this was a dream scenario here for LA coming into this ball game, as Robert Johnson has been cooking, the defense has been cooking, and Sully Richardson hasn't had to do too much.
Yeah, and if Sully Richardson doesn't have to do too much, especially over the last couple of weeks where he's had to do a lot to try to get LA back in very formidable deficits, it results in great games for Los Angeles, which we're seeing right here.
Richardson wants a deep pass, tipped in the air, still up in the air, and incomplete. So many Jacksonville defenders had an opportunity there as Zomilia had come back into the ball game from his cramps. And man, oh man, how many opportunities you need?
That was about 6 or 7 bounces up in the air. You had all the corners touching it, along with, I think, their mothers and fathers that somehow subbed into the game mid-play that happened to touch it as well. Just ample opportunities. Did you guys eat popcorn in the sidelines or something?
Butter all over the fingers. Richardson, handoff to Johnson, who gets knocked down for a minimal gain, as the Jacksonville defense was ready for it on that run here, but Johnson has had very impressive numbers here this evening.
Yeah, and it's just been breaking free and getting that open space, getting great blocking from both their star left side linemen as well as Tommy Rahman, just to give Johnson that space to get a big game so far.
Plus, not to mention the run of the year earlier that we saw that is sure to be an SFL top 10 play. That was a catch made along the near sideline by Davius Reed, but not enough for the first down. LA will have to punt again.
Yeah, and I think that run is going to end up being one of the top 10 plays of the season. I'm already probably pinning that in the top 3 this season for sure. That I've seen in my own games on this broadcast booth so far. Just amazing work.
Enjoy being on the league's next promo video there, Robert Johnson. Patton with the return, only gets a minimal return out to the 29-yard line. 4:40 to go here in the 3rd. Jacksonville's defense standing tall, trying to give their offense an opportunity here, but they have yet to find the end zone. Deep into the 3rd quarter, just a wild game that LA has put together against the Jacksonville Kings.
Yeah, and these wide receivers need to find a way to get a little bit more open. This secondary, I've been saying it all game, great job from this LA secondary, but
Jared Willis, another screen pass coming out of the backfield there for a minimal gain. In fact, he'll lose a yard back to the Jacksonville 28-yard line. The SFL is spotlighting 4 games in their own time slot on Monday night, starting tomorrow, February 21st, with Baltimore versus Queen City. This week's special feature, you'll see Baltimore's T. Roy Gaines and Sir Ron Yates IV, plus Queen City's Nathaniel Diggs and Jorge Torres on camera, while they watch and react to themselves and their teammates on the field. Visit simulationfl.net for complete Monday night special schedule and details. Dunhill takes the snap from the gun, finds a receiver over the middle of the field for first down yardage out across to the Jacksonville 41-yard line.
Yeah, and just kind of beats the separation there. And I think it was Prince Parker that was on him and just kind of gets beat there. No, excuse me, that was Scotty Marshall that was on the coverage there and was a little bit behind. So that was just an easy pitch and catch to get that first down for Jacksonville.
Rest of the downs for the Kings with 3:42 to go here in the 3rd. Into coverage and picked off again. LA is just picking off Dunhill left and right. That was the 4th pick that he's thrown this evening, this time courtesy of Mike Scott.
Yeah, and this one, I think that one was just underthrown more than anything else. Mike Scott did a fantastic job of reading what Dunhill was looking for, but I felt like it was maybe a yard or two underthrown, which made an easy catch for Mike Scott. And once again, this secondary has been all over Marcus Dunhill, and they get another pick out of him.
Any chance this Jacksonville Kings team have an opportunity to drive down the football field, this LA defense clamps them shut in a big way as Richardson gets a good chunk of 9 yards on first down. And that's created this deficit here, and that's created the situation that Marcus Dunhill finds himself in, trying to throw the football a bit too much and making mistakes.
Yeah, and I think he's throwing a lot of risky passes, and right now Dunhill's just not connecting with his receivers like he wants to right now, which has resulted in these 4 interceptions. So he's got to maybe be a little more patient in the pocket. I'm not sure.
Patience is something that they don't have a ton of as Johnson rumbles forward out across the 30 to the 28-yard line. Robert Johnson with over 130 yards on the ground.
Yeah, and this has got to be the game of the season right now for Robert Johnson, as he's been carrying the brunt of this offensive load for LA whenever they've been on the field. At least he's basically been the catalyst of this offense, just getting these big yardage plays and continuing to do so, especially on this play alone.
Touchdown on the ground for Johnson. 2 through the air for Richardson and short yardage situations. And then a pick 6 by Rochelle Colston. And that's the 28 points that you see on the board for the Lycans, as this time the Jacksonville defense buries Johnson at the line.
Yeah, and the big key here for Jacksonville, if they want to get back in this game, is just, I would say, it all starts and stops with the progression of Scott Johnson. So they need to stop him right away and maybe force Sully to throw a couple of deep throwing passes here. There's another free play
instead for LA, and checks it down over the middle, short yardage. And I think LA will be content to accept the penalty and take the free 5 yards.
And I think that's the 3rd time that they've jumped early in this game, too. Just too many ants in your pants for this Jacksonville defense. This time, Taquan Hale with the penalty. I know that you're eager to get to Richardson, to get to Scott Johnson, to get to every player that you can. But you also got to be patient as well. Get that football snap first before you start getting ahead.
The second time that LA has gotten a 5-yard penalty there. And only 1 for Jacksonville so far, as Johnson buries a defender again as he's off to the end zone once more. Touchdown LA. The route is on.
Yeah, and this time it's the right side of the offensive line that helps out. Dodge Deadwood and Randy Amos. Those 2 guys made plenty of space for Robert Johnson down that right side of the field, and that gave him plenty of space to go through. As you see once again, Bob Dunham, the left guard, carrying over on that drag block, helping out, going ahead of Robert Johnson and getting in that space. Just amazing work by that offensive line alone to get Robert Johnson another rushing touchdown.
And that puts Johnson into the 150-yard realm today, and 2 very impressive rushing touchdown runs, this time from 23 to give LA more points on the board. And the extra point is up and through, 35-9 in favor of the hometown Lycans. And coming into this ball game, Jacksonville was 6-0 against this LA Lycans franchise, and the scores weren't even all that close. And here they are coming out here and just banging their heads against the wall, making every play possible, and just stifling this Jacksonville Kings team in every sense of the word. Patton from his own goal line, trying to find any space at all, and he makes it out to the 21-yard line, where they'll take over once more. And Jacksonville just has to find the end zone. Don't even worry about the deficit at this point. Just find the end zone and get things going.
Yeah, got to get positive momentum. But I do want to go back on the fact that that Jacksonville has been 6-0. The last 3 games for Los Angeles, their combined offensive point total, 28. So they've scored more in the last 3 matchups against, in this game alone, than the last 3 matchups against Jacksonville.
Wow. Dunhill trying to air it out far sideline, incomplete. And again, this secondary has come out to play. Jack Hacksaw batting that football down.
Yeah, and it looked like the receiver had enough space as well. It just might have been a tad bit underthrown, maybe not enough of a laser pass. I can't say as a quarterback myself. I'm more catching footballs, not passing them. But just gave enough time for Hacksaw to swat that ball away.
Second down now. Jared Willis on the carry and gets minimal yardage out to the 22. 17 carries, 43 yards. It's just not a great average, not a great day overall for the Jacksonville Kings overall.
Not at all, and it's been an all-out effort from the Los Angeles defense. This time the interior lines making a big impact on that play.
Dunhill from the gun on 3rd and long. Has time, fires it, and I don't know what happened on that play. Maybe he just overthrew his receiver, but I think Ellington was the one he was looking for, just an overthrow on that one.
Yeah, that was a very rare extreme overthrow as well. That was 5 yards over the head of Kingston Ellington, and that could have been possibly another easy interception for LA if that guy was just ready and able to grab the football. But now Jacksonville punting the football away back to Los Angeles after another 3-and-out.
Another punt there by McCoy deep in his own end of the field. Fielded right around the 40-yard line, bringing it out to the 44. Shout out to Beebs in the chat. Welcome into the SFL, Beebs. And, man, this is a great product. Glad to see that you're watching here with us. And wish we had a better game for you. But, man, oh, man. LA just coming out and playing with their hair on fire.
Yeah, definitely. This will be the recruitment video for Beebs if he ever wants to join the Los Angeles Lycans team in the future. That's for sure.
Exactly. Join the Lycans. Absolutely. Hand off to Johnson, trying to fight for extra yardage, and he'll maybe lose a single yard on the play rather than losing 3 yards, as Jacksonville was ready for him in the backfield.
I think that shows the toughness and just the grind of Robert Johnson when you have 5 defenders trying to tackle him down, and it takes the 6th one to knock him down behind the line of scrimmage.
Single back formation, Johnson with another carry, finding some room and gets buried right around midfield. Greg Gaines, he is mad.
And yeah, I would be mad too if I was down 26 up at this point. It's absolutely bone crushing.
Get your 4s up, get your 86s up in the chat. 1 more quarter to play. LA with a huge lead at home. This is the Simulation Football League, presented by APM Music, live on YouTube. 35-9 in favor of the hometown LA Lycans over the Jacksonville Kings. Very impressive game overall for this team as the Lycans continue to matriculate the football down the field. This time to the Jacksonville 37-yard line, courtesy of Jack Flash, the tight end.
Nice old little tight end post route for Jack Flash, just getting in that little pocket of space between the linebackers and the safeties, getting a nice and easy catch and a nice and easy first down for LA.
More importantly, the clock continues to run for LA. Trying to put the final nail in the coffin and get out of here with a win. After a disappointing past couple of weeks, this has certainly redeemed itself a little bit. And Robert Johnson, he is just going off today. That was Mike All that he just slipped away from. 6'6", 269.
Yeah, you took the words right out of my mouth. We're talking about one of the best defensive ends that we've seen in this game over the last couple of seasons. And Mike All, he's got 15 and a half sacks himself just throughout his career so far. And he's been a big threat, just shrugging him off.
From the gun this time, Richardson will pump fake, throws it over the middle and incomplete. It looked like the defense might have jarred the football loose as he was looking for Terrence Weary once again.
Yeah, it looked like just getting a hit on Terrence Weary was just enough to get that football out of his hands, because it looked like it might have been a possible catch for him. But there's a difference between a catch without contact and a catch with contact. With a catch with contact, it's tough to hold that football, that's for sure.
Weary, the first-round pick for this LA Lycans team in this past SFL rookie draft out of Memphis. Richardson again pump fakes and again throws it over the middle of the field. What a catch! Are you kidding me? LZ Pryor with the one-handed grab. Didn't matter if it was in the end zone this time. That's a heck of a catch.
Yeah, that's been highlight city for LZ Pryor. He's been absolutely fantastic with both of his touchdown catches being highlight plays, and this one here on an all slants on the right side. He makes that look easy.
4 wide for Richardson, continuing to throw the football. Johnson continuing to stiff arm defenders to the turf. He gets maybe a yard out of that one, out to the 23.
Yeah, and again, a swing pass being a little bit ineffective just because of the lack of blockers, which resulted in that defender just hitting him head first. It looked like almost right on him. Connor Darien, definitely a very angry man up at this point.
Two backs behind Richardson. He's under center. 4 down lineman for the Kings on defense. Handoff again to Johnson. Trying to patiently follow his blockers and moves inside the SFL red zone to the 18-yard line. APM Music is unrivaled music to bring your stories to life, inspiring every production with the world's most robust and constantly refreshed music collection, state-of-the-art technology, and world-class customer service. APM Music is the official soundtrack of the Simulation Football League. To explore their library and to find the perfect tracks for your projects, visit apmmusic.com. Stacking the boxes, the Kings on defense. Doesn't matter as Richardson threads the needle and finds another receiver, Chris Lee, inside the 5 to the 3-yard line. First and goal, Lycans.
And again, they're looking at that empty spot in the middle between the linebackers and the safeties. And you can see the big one there that I just saw, Stuart Zomelia, just backed off a little bit too soon on that, which gave enough proper space for that receiver to get a nice catch right in the spot that Richardson wanted him to be.
Tight window, but Richardson able to find it regardless. This time, I formation. Johnson looking to find the end zone again, but Jacksonville has other plans as they bury him in the backfield for a loss of a couple.
And they brought 2 outside linebackers there. Garrett Hudson this time getting on the outside and getting to Scott Johnson before he could get any ground tracked on there for an easy loss. And now LA maybe a little bit tougher to get to the end zone now that they're in goal line situation.
Second and goal. Richardson, near sideline, got his man. Another touchdown for LA as Chris Lee gets into the end zone. It gets into the end zone for the Lycans.
Yeah, and again, it's just the Jacksonville secondary sagging off just a little bit too much. And Chris Lee with that nice out route gets the catch, kind of collects himself, turns on the Jets, turns around a little bit, and finds his way to the end zone. And it's LA, just all cylinders going. They've been predicting everything right so far on the offensive end. And at this point, now they have a 40-burger on their hands.
M's lining up for the extra point. And it is up and through. Jacksonville almost getting there to block the extra point. But check, please. This one's over.
Yeah, at this point, just over 7 minutes to go. It's way too big of a deficit at this point. Jacksonville would need a miracle and then some just to get back in this game to make it a threatening kind of game. But it's tough when you're down 33.
Hats off to Tyler Falk in the stat struck for his endless wit, by the way. 42-9. I don't think any of us saw this coming as Patton was able to make it out to the 23-yard line. 7 minutes on the clock. And you got to wonder when LA is going to put the second group in. And if at that point Jacksonville will finally find the end zone.
Yeah, and if you're a betting man that went with the over on the 51.5, you kind of want to hope that the second unit comes in for LA so that more points can be scored on the board. You're at 51 right now. Just need one more point.
Willis with the carry, sidesteps the defender, able to scoot free and gets 10 yards out to the 33. They'll mark it second and short.
Yeah, and it does look like a couple of the secondary unit is in. I did see Brick Douglas in, and I do see a couple of others, and Jacksonville's challenging the spot of the ball here. Might as well, right?
They got nothing to lose at this point. They might as well throw the challenge flag and see if they can get a first down out of this one. And it was close. It looked like he got a second surge there that got him very, very close to the line to gain.
It's tough to say. Look at the knee.
Yeah, tough angle from that one. This is a better one. Yeah, I think he got it.
Yeah.
Frank Gooden and company, feeling they have nothing to lose at this point. They might as well get the first downs where they can. And it looks like they're going to win this challenge, saving a timeout and getting a first down in the process.
Yeah, I'll take any minor victory that they can up at this point, just because it's been surprisingly, and I'll emphasize this, surprisingly a very poor game from the Jacksonville offense. You don't see this too often out of this high attack offense.
Single back formation. Dunhill throws it over to the far sideline, incomplete. It looked like maybe his tight end got tangled up there. Jack Wall with the defender, and it falls to the turf.
Yeah, you said it. It was just a tangle up, and Jack Wall wasn't ready to just get his hands ready for the football because he was just trying to get away from his defender, and he didn't even turn around. It hit him right on his tuchus, and it resulted in incompletion.
Under 7 to go here in the fourth. Dunhill under center. He's got 3 wideouts to work with. Jared Willis is going to get the carry. Passes it to the outside. Good spin move to stay on his feet. And he'll make it out to the 38-yard line for a gain of a few.
Again, that spin move working for Jared Willis here, even if it's just getting him a couple extra yards. That's all he needs so far. Now he's been much better in this second half. He's been a little bit more effective. He's now up to 62 yards on his 19th carry.
Trips towards the bottom of the formation on third down for Jacksonville. Dunhill. Pressure coming in his face. Hit as he's thrown, able to find his receiver, but for minimal gain as Carroll is able to get maybe 1.5 yards. That's going to bring up 4th and short.
Yeah, and the big key here is Los Angeles has been basically on point on these deep threat attacks from Jacksonville, which has led to Dunhill forcing a lot of risky throws, which has resulted in his 4 interceptions, as well as these check down passes that are just not enough for these first downs.
McCoy with the punt, and fair catch called for and made right around the LA 25-yard line. Coverage of the Simulation Football League on Next Level Sports continues next Saturday, February the 26th at 2:30 p.m. Eastern Time. Lone Star is the next team to get a crack at the defending champs, hosting Baltimore for the first time in franchise history. Then it's the quarterfinals rematch and divisional rivalry between the Florida Storm and the Charleston Predators. Bonus coverage will include Arizona St. Louis and DC Queen City. Visit NLSE.com to find Next Level Sports in your area. Sully Richardson and company with another crack at the football. Still in the ball game, and his defender paid his receiver, paid for it as Davius Reed was the intended target, but man, linebacker laid him out on that one.
I don't think Greg Gaines was looking at the football at all. I think he just wanted to lay the hammer down and just get his frustrations out as the secondary unit for Jacksonville has kind of not been there today for them.
Richardson under center, hands it off to Johnson. Johnson has been running the football very tough and very hard all game long, and he has not stopped deep in the fourth quarter of action as he gets 6 yards on that play.
And as much as we talk about that left side of the offensive line with the brothers Dunham, I guess you could call them, but that right side with Deadwood and Amos and the center Felonius have been doing a fantastic job as well, giving Robert Johnson this space.
I'll allow it. Brothers Dunham. I'll allow it. Hand off to Johnson. Johnson with a sea of defenders around him is not going to go anywhere as he gets stopped behind the line. 4th down coming up, and LA will have to put the football. Seems we've seen a kind of a slowing of the process here as LA has gone out to a very comfortable lead, and Jacksonville's still struggling to get anything going offensively.
Yeah, and I think LA's just fine with the current result as is, so they're just gonna roll with these punches and kind of just play a little bit of tennis, punting the football each way.
Patton gets buried on the return there as I'm sure he wasn't expecting that hit. Gets maybe a few yards out to the Jacksonville 37-yard line. 4:43 to go here in the ball game. And I think he hit the nail on the head. I think LA is just trying to run the clock out and take this victory, move to 2-3, and prepare for next week.
Yeah, it's going to be a big 2-3 for LA as the Pacific Division continues to be wild for them, and now they have a little bit of traction to gain between the other three teams in that division.
Dunhill quickly throws it to Jared Willis, who gets hit right at the line of scrimmage. No gain. Kevin Brackett with the hit. No huddle coming up here for the Jacksonville Kings. Dunhill this time floats one into the center of the field and picked off again. Going back the other way is LA, and this time it was one of the extra defenders, Chet Longshanks, with the interception, and Dunhill has thrown 5 interceptions on the evening tonight.
Yeah, and this time it felt like that was just a very soft throw from Dunhill. I think if he wanted to get that deep pass going, he had the safeties beat. I think if he lasered that pass, it probably would have been a little bit better for him, but it gave enough opportunity for that secondary unit, like you said, with Chet Longshanks, the backup or the backup free safety that comes in on the second unit and grab an interception.
Second team in the ball game here as Nico Squirrel is your quarterback. Tommy Swagger with the carry, and he understandably gets maybe a couple of yard loss as Mike All and the first team defense is still in there. And again, LA just looking to go into 2-3 at this point, get out of their home stadium with a win, and prepare for the next week.
Yeah, a little bit of an early party for Sully Richardson as he can kind of relax for the rest of this game here.
Letting that play clock bleed down. Squirrel will hand it off to Swagger, and he'll get maybe a yard or two out to close to the original line of scrimmage there. 3rd and long coming up. Clock continues to roll.
And that defense for Jacksonville kind of padding their stats a little bit here, getting a couple extra tackles on there and trying to climb up the tackling leaderboard as they get to Tommy Swagger once again, as this drive so far, net gain of -1 yards.
Largest margin of defeat for an away game for this Jacksonville Kings franchise is 35. So they are close to hitting that mark here this evening as Squirrel throws a pass towards the far sideline, incomplete, brings up 4th down, and 3:04 will freeze on the clock.
And once again, we're going to be playing a little bit of tennis as Sid O'Lindy once again is going to head out to the field to punt this football away to Jacksonville and give them one more chance to maybe score some points out of this. Do you suspect this more of the second unit of the defense coming out as well for Los Angeles?
I would imagine so at this point. I don't think there's any reason to keep the first team defense or offense in at this point. They definitely played their hearts out here this evening, and they've certainly proved their point. And LA has played a very excellent ball game against a very tough Jacksonville Kings team overall. And that one rolls in the end zone for a touchback, 2:56 on the clock as Jacksonville takes over. But LA, it was their night. Some nights you're the bug and some nights you're the windshield, and it ended up that LA was the windshield. Deep pass, Dunhill connects out to the 40-yard line as they go no huddle. Kingston Ellington with the diving grab.
Let's get some points on the board here.
Dunhill with time over the middle. Catch made by Patton. Another first down out to the LA 47.
They're finding that gap.
Another deep pass and another connection, this time to Grayson Willis. No huddle once again, trying to get one more play before the 2-minute warning. They will get it off. Dunhill again throwing, and again another catch made, and that's going to be sliding into the end zone for a touchdown. Finally getting the Jacksonville Kings into the end zone is Shea Carroll.
Yeah, and guys that bet the over on this matchup here is going to get their money as Jacksonville finally gets a touchdown on the board here as he slides with his butt to the end zone. Shea Carroll got a little bit of a consolation touchdown there as they can kind of end things off with a high note. Even though they're eventually going to end up losing this game and go down to 3-2, it's a consolation touchdown to say, hey, at least we can score a touchdown against this Los Angeles defense that's been almost picture perfect throughout this game.
And honestly, I still tip my cap to this LA defense for being able to hold this Jacksonville offense out of the end zone for the vast majority of this game. As the extra point is good, 42-16 now the score, as LA will get the football back with just around 2 minutes to go.
Yeah, and LA's done pretty much a fantastic job in limiting Marcus Dunhill because he can have those 400-yard games just in quick fashion, but getting 5 interceptions out of him, that is a huge feat.
Jacksonville with the onside kick. Goes right to the LA Lycans hands team, and that's going to be a tackle at the 41-yard line. 2:08 to go here in LA as the other game we've been broadcasting has been finalized. The Vancouver Legion with a big win over the Florida Storm, 41-24.
It's a big turnaround for Vancouver as well after they lost by 3 to Carolina before their bye week, so now they're up to 4-1.
Handoff, and that's Swagger as he gets a chunk of 4 yards there. Out to the Jacksonville 37-yard line as we have hit the 2-minute warning here in LA. The hometown Lycans built a very impressive lead, and they're looking to close this one out to cap off the evening of games. Simulation Football League, presented by APM Music, live on YouTube. I don't expect the Jacksonville Kings to use any of their timeouts here and just let this game clock bleed out and LA to walk away with the victory as Swagger gets another carry. Another tackle there by John Martin, and I was wrong. Jacksonville going to use their first timeout.
I mean, you might as well, right? Try to get as many points as possible. Use those timeouts to kind of stop the clock. If you can force them on a 3-and-out with their second unit, you might as well try to get more points on the board and kind of, make this a little bit more of a respectable final score.
We'll see how it goes here on this 3rd and 7 with 1:57 on the clock. Another carry by Swagger, and Swagger finds first down yardage and more as Greg Gaines knocks him down close to the 20-yard line. Jacksonville will call another timeout.
And you got to give credit to this offensive line. They're keeping going here, and they're giving the space for Tommy Swagger here, who doesn't have quite the speed as Robert Johnson, but still has enough agility to kind of get through defenders and get you these nice chunks of yards every now and again. Kind of reminds me of a Myron Jones Jr. If anyone is catching roster spaces out at home. Another one of the best backup running backs in the league, if I can say so myself.
Definitely some holes to be had in that defense there as he rumbles forward for a good chunk of yards there, and he'll get another carry. This time stopped right at the line of scrimmage. Jacksonville burning their final timeout, so no further opportunities to stop the clock for Jacksonville. And that will pretty much do it here from LA, although I will argue that it's been done for a little bit.
Yeah, and Los Angeles can still get some points out of this as they're well within field goal range for Rob Ems here, as they're going to go victory formation to kind of keep running the clock down. We'll see if they get to 4th down.
Yep, takes the kneel down there. Get close to about the 110 mark, I'd imagine. Another 40 seconds or so. I'm trying to do basic math in my head here. They're probably going to have to call a timeout or figure something out to where they don't kneel the football once more to turn it over on downs. One more kneel down there brings up 4th down. And I suspect we'll see the field goal unit come on. Clock continuing to trickle away.
They're going to bring the field goal unit out for this one. They're going to tack. They're going to try to tack on more points. See if they can get to a nice crisp 45.
And good snap, good hold, and Ems will boot it through from 42 yards. That'll make it a 45-16 ball game with 27 seconds on the clock. So we get another look at the field goal attempt there. Jacksonville will fall to 3-2, and LA will move to 2-3 on the season, as LA will have to travel to Carolina to take on the Skyhawks in Raleigh next week. And meanwhile, the Jacksonville Kings will play host to the San Diego Mavericks back in North Florida. Patton with the return, trying to bounce it far sideline. He'll get it out to the 26-yard line, 23 seconds on the clock. And we'll have a couple plays before we get out of here.
What do you think, Eric? 3 Hail Marys?
Sure, why not?
You got nothing left to lose. You might as well try Hail Marys, right?
Exactly. Might as well get some more points on the board. Throw some fireworks out there. Nothing wrong with that. Dunhill lines up in the gun. He's going to throw it far sideline, and that's not quite the fireworks we were looking for, as that's an out route for a good gain of 8 yards. Grayson Willis, 6 catches, 92 yards. Respectable day for him.
Look, I know that we want to go with the patented out route to know that, hey, the SFL is known for that out routes, but come on, let's throw it deep. Get some fireworks. Get the fans that came from Jacksonville all the way to LA. Give them something to leave happy about. Like give them that like highlight play that they want out of this game, you know? Like just throw it deep.
Give the pride of the Kings something to cheer for here. Come on.
Yeah, they used to be the pride as well. I remember that. Yeah.
They did. They did indeed. Relocated from Tallahassee not too terribly long ago, as Dunhill finds another receiver as he steps out of bounds. That time is Shea Carroll with 15 seconds on the clock. First down.
Yeah, they're going to use every valuable second left here, as this might be the longest 19 seconds we'll ever have in this SFL season.
Finally to a point where Hail Mary range is possible, as Dunhill comes out in the Hail Mary formation.
Nothing to lose.
Fire it down the field, see what happens. As Dunhill chucks it down the football field into coverage and incomplete.
Oh.
Man, I was losing breath. I was losing air out of my lungs trying to make that final call as the football.
Yeah, we could hear you kind of just fading a little bit away. We were wondering if you're already driving your way out of this game or if you're just trying to make the call. But nonetheless, I think that hit every body part imaginable. You've got like back, hands, arms, head, feet, butt, everything.
Oh, yeah.
One more time.
Imagine this would be the final play of the game. Dunhill, pump fakes, waiting for every opportunity to heave the football down the field. He gets it down there, and it is incomplete as the clock mercifully hits triple zeros, as the LA Lycans walk out of here with a 45-16 victory. A very hard-fought victory for the Lycans, as they forced 5 turnovers, 5 Dunhill interceptions here this evening.
And everything started in the second quarter. Remember, this was 7-6 after the first quarter. So this was definitely a game to be had to start off. And then LA's defense just came to play starting in that second quarter, getting back-to-back interceptions. The second of the 3 back-to-backs, resulting in a pick 6. Like you said, 14 first half points off turnovers, and that it spelled doom for Jacksonville. They just couldn't get back in this game. That secondary unit was on point for that 33 minutes between the second and the fourth quarter. They were just everywhere, being a menace from every side of the field, just not giving these receivers any chance. And that's what resulted in this LA victory. Like this is this is a trademark victory for this Lycans franchise. They can look back at this and say, hey, now we've beat Jacksonville. It took us 7 tries all time, but hey, we finally beat these guys, and now we can finally say, hey, we got a win over you guys, and it was in emphatic fashion.
And that's not to take anything away from Jacksonville. This Kings team is one of the better ones in the SFL. Marcus Dunhill is a fantastic quarterback, and he has tons of weapons on offense. We've seen them put up points ad nauseum. Just like I said, some days you're the bug and some days you're the windshield. The Kings just happen to be the bug this evening.
Yeah, and they've had some big games already in this season here. It's just chalk this one up as a bad day in the office for Jacksonville here. Just shrug this off, head into next week, and come out with just the fire in your eyes. But player of the game.
Player of the game honors going to Robert Johnson. 23 attempts, 170 yards, 2 touchdowns, including that 61-yard rumble to start things off for him and get him going over the century mark. Well, on behalf of Brett Solberg, Tyler Falk, and Zach Holdorf in the Stats Truck, my name is Eric Vincent. Thank you for tuning in into this presentation of the Simulation Football League. We'll see you tomorrow night for Monday Night Special. Good night.
Bye.